So we are live on YouTube now. I think people have joined on YouTube also. So another 2 minutes left. In a minute, we will start. Good evening, everyone. Super. Pravesh, I would like you to start the session. Thank you.
A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by an action makes your dreams come true. Hello, everyone. I am your host for today's evening. Before we proceed, I request all my participants to kindly mute yourself so that we can proceed without any difficulty. Do excuse us for any technical issues. It is my honor to welcome our dignitaries for today. Mr. Pramod Bhaskar Kumar, the President of Aloka Foundation, Dr. Manohar Nayak, Secretary of Aloka Foundation, Dr. Kantani Pramod Kumar, Trustee from the Treasury of Aloka Foundation, trustees, guests, and all participants on behalf who will be addressing the pandemic on social behavior and mental health. Job John has done his BA and MA in History and Literature and has received bachelor's degree from Mahatma Gandhi, Mangalore, Indira Gandhi, Serum Universities. He has received his training in youth counseling, family counseling, advanced leadership, and public speaking. He is experienced 40 years in he is of my city. John is also a renowned musician who has published 25 songs and albums. He is also an author of a book which is making. I welcome you, sir. Like go two things before presentation. You will have the opportunity to submit your questions to the presenter, Zoom or YouTube chat box. They will and addressed during the Q&A section. Polling questions will be launched on your screen.
Thank you, Pravesh, sir. Pastor John, Job John, sir, please proceed with your prayer.
Yeah. Okay. I can start now, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Because Pravesh was, yeah, he was not very clear to me, so I thought.
Yeah, there's a network issue, I think so, at his place.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry for inconvenience, sir. You can start
Okay,
with your
fine.
presentation.
Okay.
Please forgive me for the technical issues. Over to
Okay.
you, sir.
Good evening to every one of you. I would just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. A very relevant topic during this season. And I just want to thank Pramod sir for calling me and arranging this meeting, and also Janita, who was constantly in touch with me for the betterment of this meeting to organize in different aspects, and all the other staff and students, and if any families, I greet all of you. So we'll start this evening talk on the topic, as it was mentioned in the leaflet. We'll talk on effects of pandemic on social behavior and mental health. We all know that we are going through a very difficult time, not only in India, all over the world. And have you ever thought of a situation where all the flights cancelled, all the trains cancelled, all the auditoriums are closed, all the movie theaters are closed, and all the roads are shut, all the houses are closed, and only police people and only medical workers are found on the road, here and there, and the highways, which are always very busy, are going to be empty. And have you ever thought of a situation like this before 6 months? No, none of us. Even we have heard about this hartal and bant and all. We have many times heard, and that was just for one day, or maybe a maximum of another alternative day also. That was all our knowledge about closing down the whole, the nation, and it was like that. Now the situation has come in such a way that all the continents, all the countries, everywhere it is closed down. The life has become, it's no more how it used to be in the past. It all has changed, totally changed. We are actually living in a new world. Sometimes we say this BC and AD are like before Christ and after Christ. Now this BC has to be changed as before Corona and after Corona, before COVID-19, something like that. We heard this kind of jokes everywhere. So the world has changed so much, and now I think we are covering almost in India 6 months or so, this lockdown and similar things. And COVID-19 has originated from China some few more months before that. I understand in US and all, the lockdown has been announced in the month of January itself because it was so severe there. Now the number is also increasing. So many deaths happened. More than death, the most severe thing is that so many other things are happening. We'll come to that in a minute or so. So many of these things are happening, and none of us ever thought this kind of a situation will come. And the another problem is that we don't know when it is going to end. If it's a hartal or bant or something like that, some strike or anything like that, we know maybe after some time, maybe after 1 week or few days, it's going to be over. And also earlier we have heard about so many other sicknesses like smallpox and Ebola, Nipah, and all this we have heard. But it was all limited to a particular place, and it was not spreading like this, which were, of course, much more severe than this COVID-19. But this kind of a situation was not there. Now, what I understand is the severity of this lockdown and this pandemic is not affecting the life of people. Many people died because they have other sicknesses also. That is not the concern now. The concern is about the mental health, social behavior, social life, and other aspects of life is so badly hit with all those pandemic things. And so fear, worry, and stress more harmfully is affecting the human hearts. Every one of us are going through. we were forced to accept changes in our routine life. We were forced, actually. It was not that we really wanted to be like that, but it was forced upon us. And the stress and the problems related to lack of finance, it's all affecting the whole community. India is facing a very severe problem. And everybody blaming each other. Politicians blame each other, police blame the disobedient people, and all are blaming each other. But actually this blaming thing is not going to find a result at all. Everyone can blame. I can blame you, you can blame me, we can blame teachers, we can blame college authorities, college management, everyone can blame. But even when we are blaming each other, the remedy is not found. Remedy is far away, much far away from we can ever imagine of. And this is the time we need a lot of strength to face the situations in our mind. We have to prepare ourselves for that. I was just hearing a talk from somebody this morning, and it was saying he's from Nepal, and he was telling 350 people died in Nepal because of COVID-19. At the same time, 1,450 people committed suicide because they don't have money, because they are not able to pay back the loans which are taken from the bank and all. So many issues of this sort are happening. Maybe when college students are listening to me, you may not have this problem of finance because you have never started operating finance in your family life or in your personal life and all what you need to do is to ask your parents. But whereas if you're a person who is earning money, and if you are forced to spend money, you will find it very difficult to come across a day-to-day life. And sometimes people are finding it difficult to have a 3 times meal a day. There are many people. And in this class, when I'm going to tell you some of the things related to the mental health and social behavior and all what I'm going to tell you is what I have learned from these 7 months of time in my talk, in my communication with other people. Many people came for counseling to me, and whatever I'm going to tell you is all coming out as my experience. I have experienced this. I mean, not that I personally experienced, I have heard the life testimony of people who are facing this kind of problem. So my encouragement to all of you is that don't listen to this talk as just a talk, a casual talk that you used to listen in the classroom and in many other YouTube and all. Don't listen to that. This is something that is very personal to all of you. It is very important for all of you. And in this talk, I will be talking to you some of the symptoms that we find because of this pandemic that happened in our social behavior and our thinking pattern and all. Some of the things we'll see, and then after that we'll see some of the signs of that, and then we'll see some of the remedies to overcome the stress, fear, worry, anxiety, agony, and all those things. All right. And so, as I told you, we have come into a new routine of life. Everything has changed. Working from home. We have heard about working from home. Now it is like all the IT people are working from home. All the accountants are working from home. Internet has got much more wider publicity and acceptance in the society than ever before. Even TV has got much more acceptance in the society than ever before. Now parents are telling to the children, please sit in front of the TV, please sit with the mobile phone, please attend the class. And they are forcing people to use the electronic gadgets, computer or laptop or something like that. So it has changed. And losing job, that was another thing. People never thought these many people are losing job. Thousands and lakhs of people are losing job. So financial difficulties because of that. And homeschooling, many people, I have heard that in every southern states in India are having 20,000 plus children doing the homeschooling before. But now it has become, there is no other way for the parents to find money to meet their needs, to pay their children's fee, because even in the school, even the parents are not working, they have no job and not able to pay fees in the school. And so all these things are there. Even school management are finding it difficult to pay the salary of the staff. At least 75% or 60% of the salary has to be paid. And for that, they have to ask the students, or they have to ask the parents. And that is all the way. Even they are also feeling ashamed to ask people without having a physical class attendance that is happening. So that is all a new pattern of living. Actually, we are coming into a new understanding of all those things. Absence of physical contact. Whenever we meet each other, what we do, we give a shake hand to our friends. Sometimes we hug each other, we like each other, and this is all absent now. We don't shake hands actually. Even if it's a non-person, unknown person, family member, even the close friends, we are a little afraid to give shake hand even. That is the situation. We can't go close to a person. Earlier, we used to go to the church, to the public places, shopping malls and all. Malls were all like air conditioned, and it was good for the college students to go and spend time there. But that's all changed. Now AC is not working. No more AC. AC has become irrelevant in the society. And all the comforts are gone. People used to walk around, roam around everywhere as they like. They used to fly to Dubai, they used to fly to different places, but that's not there now. It's all absent now. And the online classes and no hostel, friends are missing, and all those things. One of my cousin who is working in the US police, he's a senior police officer. He was telling me what is happening. There are many families where, especially people from Africa, African Americans, they have never practiced to sit in the home. Now the authorities coming and telling these people to sit at home, don't go out. They can't sit at home. So what happens is they sit home forcefully. They have to sit home, and the siblings, the family members only started fighting with each other, and finally taking the gun and shooting own brother, own sister, and so much of fighting. So my cousin, who is a police officer, was telling me every day he has to go and attend one murder case. It's all because of the effect of pandemic. Social behavior has changed. Mental health is lost. Many people committing suicide. And one of the interesting thing I have noticed here in Mangalore, in the Netravati Bridge, so many people used to jump and commit suicide from the Netravati Bridge. Now they have built a fence around this Netravati Bridge so that no one can jump in the Netravati Bridge. Think about the severity of what is happening in our society. Think about the difficult thing that we are facing, the situations that we are facing. So that, just as I told you earlier, I'll be telling you everything that was happening around, or this one. It's not from any sources like any Google or anything. What I'm going to tell you is something that is just happening in Mangalore, around Mangalore, all over the world. That is what I'm going to tell you. So I pray and I believe that this talk is going to be beneficial for all of you. And listen carefully so that it will be a blessing in your life, and you will be encouraged and boosted up to face the days ahead of us. So let's get started. This thinking thing. Thinking is the highest form of thought, G.K. Chesterton said. So we all have to think. Everyone should think. But what happens is sometimes thinking goes in a very wild way, in a weird way, and people started thinking only about what wrong is going to happen to them, instead of thinking of what good is going to happen to them. Whenever we think, we all have to think about something good that is going to happen in our life. That is called positive thinking. To face every difficult situation that is there in front of us, what we need to do is to have an attitude of thinking in a positive way. Take everything in a positive way. I'll just start with an incident happened in the life of Zig Ziglar, who is an English thinker. Zig Ziglar was going to the John F. Kennedy Airport in the US, and he was, it was heavy traffic. He was rushing to the airport, and he was in the taxi. And after some time, he came to realize that this taxi will not reach the airport because of the heavy traffic. So he jumped out of this traffic and he started running on the road. And he's running few kilometers he had to run, and finally he reached in the airport. And he's just, it was on time, and he was not too late, maybe a little late. He was going to the receptionist who was sitting there, and he showed his tickets, and asked her, and that lady looked at this and said, "Sir, I'm sorry, the flight is cancelled." He said, "Amazing." And then she said, "Even though it is cancelled, we have arranged another flight that will go after 6 hours. And so you will have to wait in the airport for another 6 hours." And then hearing this man, Zig Ziglar, said, "Fantastic." And this lady was amazed to hear these two expressions from Zig Ziglar. She asked, "Sir, many people came before you, and when I told them the flight is cancelled, they were all getting angry. They were so rude, getting, fierce angry with me. They were about to kill me. I thought some people would slap me." That was the anger, because many of the programs had to be cancelled. Many of the things are cancelled. A day is gone. And also, how to spend another 6 hours in the airport? It's not easy. Then how come you say amazing, fantastic, such positive words? And then zigzagler looked at that girl and said, actually, um, the flight is not in good condition, and that should be the reason the flight is cancelled. So it is better not to go in a flight which is not in good condition. At least I can live happily here instead of going and perishing on the way. That is why I said amazing. I said fantastic when you told me there is another flight after 6 hours. That is because John F. Kennedy Airport is such a good, it was such a beautiful scenery, and I can go around. Enough time is there in front of me. I can watch all those good views, good look, good sceneries, and I can enjoy myself. And that is why I said fantastic. And so, friends, this is where many times myself and other Indians fail. We have a general habit of looking at things and say, oh, it's what is that? And we get angry and irritated, frustrated, even small things. And that is why we fail in many of our, attempts, many of the things that we are involved in. Look at every situation with some positive energy, with some positive attitude, so that we will not fail. Actually, we will be able to see something good happening in front of us. Life is a mix of good and bad. You can't say life is always good. You don't expect life to be always good. When we get these beautiful lights around us, we have to remember it contains two wires. One is positive and one is negative. For anything, if you're a musician, there is tabla has two parts. One is a treble part, another is a bass part. And there are two kinds of human beings on the face of the earth. One is a male, another is a female. When one male and one female joins together, it becomes a family, and they give birth for a new generation. And again, either a boy or a girl is born, and that is how things are happening. So life is also a mix of good and bad. Sometimes normal situations also would come. The problem with we Indians is that when a negative situation comes, we forget about every good things that happen in our life. When a positive situation comes, we say, oh, everybody is having this kind of good things, and that is what I'm also getting. We fail to, many times, most of the time, we fail to understand how good things are happening in our life, and we lose our focus, and we lose all our energy, and finally we end up in disaster. And because of this tension, because of this negative thinking, negative attitude, we have so many sickness happening in our life, and we fall sick. And many times I have seen people becoming sick because of their attitude, because the way they are fail to connect with the situation, fail to face the situation. So my encouragement to all of you is that life is a mix of every situations, and face it boldly and in a brave way. So thinking is the highest form of thought. An angel can fly. This is also G.K. Chesterton's, and an angel can fly because angels got no weight actually. It's not because they have wings, we don't have wings. The angels take themselves lightly. This is an imagination from G.K. Chester. So that is what. So when we come to the main point, thinking is finding ways to avoid or come out of a problem. We all think about certain situations, everything we think, and a good percentage of our time on a day is spent in thinking. And two ways we can think about things. One, think about ways to improve ourselves, to face a good time, to prepare ourselves to have a better future. And second way of thinking is that even though we find difficulties in front of us, we are not thinking about how to come out of the problem. We think we are not going to come out of this problem. That's a problem actually. That's a big problem actually. We should be thinking like how to come out of a problem instead of thinking we are not going to come out of this problem. And I hope you are able to identify the difference between two kinds of thinking that we always do. Think about even if we are going through a difficult situation in our life, think about a way to come out of it instead of thinking I'm not going to come out of this problem at all. So as I told you earlier, human being is a mix of all this negative thinking, good things and bad things. It has to be there. Then only we'll be able to, enjoy our life in a nice way. So now, when we lose our social behavior and and the thinking pattern, and we think about all this negative things, unwanted things, and we destroy ourselves, we become sick, we even fall sick, and we are bedridden. Some of us are going to be bedridden because of all this unnecessary thinking. I'm going to tell you some of the ways we are thinking, some of the things that we are thinking, and I'll tell you at least 10 ways we think, as I learned from the experience of other people. Maybe some of these are applicable to you, but remember, this is applicable to somebody else who is listening to this talk. So the problem is that when we think in a negative way about all these situations, we lose touch with the reality. Corona is a reality. It is not to be seen. Actually, it's an enemy of humanity, an unseen enemy of the humanity. It's a reality. Instead of thinking how to destroy ourselves, we should be thinking how to come out of this trouble, how to, prepare ourselves to face the difficulty that we are going through. Never lose touch with the reality. We have to be in touch with the reality. Too much of thinking, too much of botheration will take away our touch with the reality. Another thing is that you think of the worst instead of the best. Every time when we are facing a situation, we are thinking about the worst thing only. We don't think about the best thing. When we go through a difficulty, the behavior changes because we think about the worst. When I am thinking about the worst that is going to happen to me, when I deal with other people, my behavior will change, my thinking pattern, my attitude, my contact to you, everything changes. So we should never be people who are mm, thinking of the worst, but think about the best that's going to happen in our life. Started believing happiness doesn't exist. How many of you listening to me thinking that happiness, such a thing called happiness, is not existing at all? We look at the people who are in the movie world. They're all, they lost their job. The other day I was hearing from a person in Mangalore that the heavy budgeted auditoriums are going to be closed forever. The movie theaters are going to be closed forever. And so much of changes are going to happen in our society, and we come to understand that, we come to think that happiness is not existing at all. Happiness is there. Only thing, we don't look into ourselves. We don't find happiness because we spend more time in our mobile phones, and we spend more time in the TV, in the movies. And instead of thinking something good for our future, we think about, we are bothered to know about what is happening to the other people. We are concerned about our neighbors. We are concerned about our this one. We are not thinking about how to come out of this the suffering that we are going through. Suffering is a reality. Actually, we are all suffering, facing problems, severe problem. Catch 22 situations are there around. But at the same time, instead of thinking how to get lost with it, we have to think how to, you know come out of the difficult situation that we are facing. Hiding fears instead of facing it is not advice for us. If you're fearing about a situation, if you're afraid of a situation that is there in front of you, please don't hide it. We have to, face it. We have to face every difficult situation that we are going through. Unless we face the realities, unless we face the difficult situation, we will never be able to, come out in a successful manner, come out in flying colors. Whenever examination comes, people are thinking, will I be able to write the exam? Will I become a successful professional, after my studies? We think about all these things. But what we need to understand is that, fear, instead of, keeping the fear aside, we have to face it bravely. Only brave people will be successful in life. So let me tell you, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to come out of all the problems that you're facing, you should be a brave person. Bravery is needed for every one of us. No matter you are a student, you are a parent, or whoever you are, we need to come out of it. Now, another thing we find during this pandemic is that the trust is lost. People lost their trust. They don't trust others. We don't even shake hands, as I told you earlier. The trust itself is lost. We have come to a situation where we can't trust anyone. I'm going to the market, I see somebody, and maybe a known person, maybe an unknown person, and I'm afraid to talk to him because trust is lost. Earlier, I never had a problem. You go to the shopping mall or a supermarket, people used to accept you with flying, with bouquet. But now it's not like that. You go without a mask, they'll ask you to stand outside. And if your mask is not properly hiding your face, they'll ask you to, put a proper mask. And so trust is lost. We trust a person only with a mask. If there is no mask, earlier what we used to say, never wear a mask. We meant, face mask, not the physical mask. Some people are like, wearing mask. So now it's like you have to have a mask. How much have it changed? So trust is lost. We are afraid to talk to a person who is not wearing a mask. Every day, almost every day, I used to spend time with two of my friends nearby. One is living in the same apartment where I am living, and one is just nearby. and we three used to spend together every evening whenever we are free and talk to each other. The other day, somebody said there are corona cases in our building. One lady has affected with COVID-19. And so after that, one among these three of our friends, one started wearing mask always. We sometimes sit for 1 hour and all. And this whole 1 hour, she is wearing the mask. So trust is lost. Earlier, he was never afraid to talk to me and to the other person. But now his trust is lost. Now, when your teacher comes, even if it's a very favorite teacher of yours, coming to the class, suppose if there is physical class happening, coming to the class without mask, you lose the trust. Be it a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, be it a close friend of yours coming without a mask, you are unable to accept it as you used to accept before. That is the situation we are in. Trust is lost. That is one result of this pandemic, effect of this pandemic. Another thing is sleep lost. Many times we are not able to sleep. And I was understanding many people lost their sleep. My children are very small children, less than 10 years old, three kids. And those children used to sleep at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock every evening, but they don't sleep now. It's not because they have tension, but their body is fine. They have no tiredness. Children usually get tired, and that is how they sleep. But they have nothing much to do, and so they sleep at 11:30, 12 o'clock. And one day I saw 2 o'clock, my daughter, who is 9 years old, is still alive still unsleepy on her bed. And it is so sad. Sleep is lost. Some people, because of tension, sleep is lost. Some people, because they don't do anything physically, they don't sleep. No tiredness, and they don't sleep. And so sleep is lost. That is another effect of this pandemic. And one more thing, nothing to look forward to. Sometimes because of this pandemic, we take up all the seriousness of this pandemic, reading a lot of newspapers, reading all those channels. And finally, we come to the conclusion that there is nothing to look forward to. And good number of people, at least 90% of the people with whom you are talking to would be saying at least one sentence to support what I have said just now. Many people think, this academic year is lost. And after this academic year, a vaccine will come only after 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Everybody says next month. But it may take 2 years, 3 years. And so what is there? No job already the GDP of India. That means the income of India is in a very dangerous level, and it is going to be stooped down even more in a dangerous way. And so what is there when my children grow up, when I come to a position where I have to find a job? We have come to a situation where we have nothing to look forward to. Whenever we look forward, we see only emptiness, only discouragements. Nothing is there to give us some sort of boost, some sort of energy in our life. Nothing to look forward to. And another thing, desperate to fix situations that haven't happened or wouldn't never happen. And we come to conclusions where we say, the situations that we have not seen yet, maybe that such sort of a situation is going to happen actually. And we think the college may be closed down, and thinking about only, the college is going to be closed down and people will die. And in the newspaper, it says every day 200 people die. Every day in India, 1,000 people die. Every day in US, so many people die. And all together, these many million people died. And all this the death news coming into our minds, we think, what we think is like desperate to fix the situations that have not happened. And we are also thinking, I may die, and if I die, who will conduct my funeral? Only this police people or health workers will come take my dead body and go, and they'll bury there. And all these things are happening. And so let me tell you, we have nothing to think about that. Don't think about death only. What I am telling you is, never think about death. Death is a reality. Everyone will die, and there should be a reason for people to die. And it is not that we are living for death. Don't live for death. Live for something, good to come. If you're a person who has no much mental strength, many times we see people who are not having so much mental strength commit suicide. If you're a person who is thinking about suicide, it is because you have no much mental strength. And difficulties will come. Of course, so many difficult situations will come. Maybe you are unable to face the situation, solve the situation, but still thinking about suicide is not a healthy way. Maybe you're physically fit, physically you are strong enough, but at the same time, mentally you're not strong enough. And that is why many people commit suicide, and many people thinking of suicide. So, never think of a situation. Suicide is not going to be a solution for anything, and suicide will never. Maybe the person who commits suicide may escape from the life, but at the same time, his family members, his friends, every one of them are going to be in a danger. One film star in the Bollywood movie committed suicide, and because of that, so many things are happening. News channels got a news that is celebrated for a long time, and one suicide will cause a lot of effect into society. Every individuals are important. Let me tell you, nobody is not important. Maybe your situations are not manageable for you. At the same time, please remember, you have a value in this world. The society is looking for you to do something good. Many times we do mistake, and that is why we are forced to commit suicide. Everybody makes mistake. Let me tell you one thing in between, that you look at the politicians. One good things we have to learn from the politicians. Any party or anything, party is not a matter. Look at the politicians. No politicians will commit suicide. That's a very interesting fact, actually, because you see every day in the news channels, newspapers and all, politicians are blamed, whether you are a ruling party or not a ruling party, in the opposition, wherever you are. Politicians there speak in the media. Sometimes this ED will come and they do all kinds of tests in your house. And another thing happens is, like, your words are being misquoted by others, and all these things are happening. Politicians will stay strong, but when it comes to the matter of many other areas of life, people commit suicide. Many students commit suicide. Many teachers commit suicide. Many film stars commit suicide. And many business people commit suicide. In Mangalore only, how many business people committed suicide? If you take the account of the last 10 years, many business people commit suicide. Many drivers commit suicide, but politicians do not. I don't know how much they have registered their skin, right? That's a good thing we have to learn from the politicians. So we also need to have that sort of a strength in our body, strength in our mind. Whatever may come, I will find a solution, and I pray that God will help me to find a solution in a crisis situation that I'm facing. Never think that there is no remedy that is there in front of you. There is a remedy for every problems that we're going through. There is no problem in front of us without having a remedy. There is a remedy. And please understand that. Tell these things to yourself, so that you'll be able to come out of the difficult situation that you are going through. And another thing, the effect of pandemic is that coming to believe anything you believe would not happen. I believe I'm going to have a good future, but during this pandemic, people started believing whatever I am believing is not going to happen. I thought I have joined for this professional course because I'll get a good future, but now because of this pandemic, I come to believe that I am not going to have a good future at all. Anything you used to believe, now because of the effect of pandemic, people started believing it's not going to happen. And I was thinking of having a good job after my education, and now I understand there are no jobs only anywhere. People are always coming back, from Gulf countries, from other foreign countries. Indians are coming back to India because they lost their job, and all these people coming back. Where is the job? I have joined for this professional course because I thought I'll be able to go out having a good job, actually. But now I understand that I am not going to get a job. And all those kind of feelings are there in the minds of people, and that's a very dangerous thing. And that is one of the effect, coming to believe that anything you believed would not happen. And another effect of pandemic, lost belief in yourself. I don't believe in myself anymore. I come to understand that I cannot do anything. If at all I was able to do anything in the past, now I have come to the situation where I will not be able to do it. I lost all my, I used to get good marks in the exams, but now what is the point of studying? So even if I study, there are no physical classes happening. I have no teachers to meet them. Many times, please remember, when we are in the classroom, the importance of classroom is that we look at the teacher. Teacher's face speaks a lot, actually, whether you understand it or not. When the teacher is a good teacher is teaching, and you are looking at the teacher's face, and that face itself teaches you so many things than what is there in the textbooks. And that is why we believe in the physical classrooms instead of virtual. This one, virtual classrooms are good, but at the same time, coming directly is something more precious. So the thing is that you lost belief in yourself. I have no teachers where I can go and personally spend time with. I have no friends, and I lost all my confidence. People used to encourage me. And if you're a small scale business person having a shop in your city, and if you're a person who is doing such sort of a thing, a tailor or something like that, or you are having a textile shop. Nowadays textile shops are also facing a lot of problem. I went to one of the shops in Mangalore, Hambankata, the other day. I was talking to them. I know them personally. I was talking to them, and they said there is no more scope for a textile shop because people are not going anywhere. No marriages happening, no functions happening, and so the sale is so less, and small shops are almost on the verge of closing down. So these are all the situations. These are all the difficult situations. At the same time, please don't lose faith on yourself. And there was a person. I'll tell you the example of one person who is living nearby. I know this person. His name is Savior. Sorry, Francis. His name is Francis, and he's a government, contractor. He was doing some loading thing and all, and he lost his job because of this pandemic. And I was talking to him, and I asked him, because it's all like daily wages, no much money. They get a small amount of money. That's all, not much money, no bank balance and all. I know him for a long time. So having a family, wife and children, two kids are there, grown-up kids, probably around 20 years old. And the other day, when I went to the roadside fish shop, I saw this man, Francis, who is cleaning the fish there. And I called him and asked him, how about your job? And he said, I have already lost my job and I don't find a way to live. And so I thought I'll come and clean the fishes here. So when I clean the fishes, people used to give me 10 rupees, 20 rupees and all. Daily, at least 100 people would come and give me 10 rupees, 20 rupees and all. So I can have enough money for my needs. So this is what I said. Believe in yourself. Don't think that you are a big person. And if he was thinking, okay, I'm a government contractor and I want to, do all my jobs according to that, then only I'll be successful. He was willing to come down and face the realities of life. We should be people who are, like that, coming down and facing the reality. And even if we are not able to find so much of meaning what we are doing right now, if you think I lost my identity because I have to do this job, please don't worry. There are tomorrows waiting for you. There are tomorrows. Life is not going to end today. Life is not going to end within one day or 2 days. It's actually moving forward. All this corona period will go away. All this pandemic will stop at some point of time. Maybe it will take some more time, but one day it will all end. We have to look forward to that day, and that is how we believe in ourselves and saying, be it pandemic, be it some other problem, as long as I have life in me, I have my breath in me, I will prepare myself to face every challenges that is coming in front of me. And another effect is that we feel unsafe. Many people are feeling unsafe about the situations that they're going through because of all these things, loss of job, no money, and looking at all these things, they feel unsafe. Never be like that. Feel safe. And even if you feel unsafe right now, find a way to be feeling safe. And then finally, the problem happens is, even if we're not thinking about suicide or anything like that, with all this unwanted thinking that we're going through, unwanted effects of pandemic that is affecting us, what happens is we are creating our own demise. We are actually making a graveyard for ourselves. We are preparing ourselves that tomorrow I'm going to die. And please don't kill yourself with all this effects of pandemic, with all this thinking, with all this difficult thinking that you're going through. So those are the things. And so let me tell you, how will you know if you're a person who is affected with the social behavior, and the bad way of thinking, overthinking and all, because of the effect of pandemic? How will you know? And I'll tell you some of the signs, and these signs will really help you to find out where you are standing. One sign is that you lost sleep. That is one sign. If you're a person who is not able to sleep properly, thinking so many things and rolling on the bed to one side to the other, and you sometimes thinking that a big double cot is not enough for me to sleep. You want to roll on the bed, no peace, and complete this one is lost, and finally not able to sleep at all. Earlier I used to sleep during daytime for maybe half an hour, a power nap, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, but even daytime sleep is lost and it's too far away from me. That's a sign of the effect of pandemic. And another thing is self-medication. We come to understand that all the medicines are of no use. I have to find my self-medication. Let me tell you, I understand almost all of you are, medical students, and you have some basic knowledge about medicine and all. Let me tell you one thing. My wife is a doctor, but whenever she is sick, she never takes medicine by herself, and she consults with a senior of hers or a teacher of hers who was there in who is there in Mangalore, and she consults with others. I many times, why don't you take medicine for yourself? You give medicine for many people, but why don't you take you medicines to you? She said, I can, but I don't believe in self-medication. Self-medication is a dangerous thing. Many people think self-medication is the best way, but it has its own danger, especially when it comes to the pandemic period, the effect of pandemic. If you're a person who is not believing in going to the doctor, meeting them, and trying to find medication of yourself, that means you lost trust in even doctors, even medicines, even the medical system only. Self-medication is a sign of pandemic. And always tired, you are not active, very delicate, and you don't feel like doing anything. Morning, getting up from the bed and don't know where to go, what to do, looking at the day till evening, and you're thinking, what is there, how will I spend time till evening, and how will I spend my time till 10 o'clock or so. And that is actually like, feeling tired, looking at the day only, you are discouraged, feeling tired. Fear of future. What will happen to my future? If you're a person who is really concerned about your future because of this pandemic, let me tell you, the pandemic has really affected you. Do not worry about your future. How you used to think about your future before 6 months, that is applicable to you even now. These 6 months were a bracket period actually, but that has not actually changed much. It changed, of course, but not much. And whatever is lost, whatever dreams are lost, whatever expectations are lost, you will be able to, get it back if you really try hard in the days to come. And fear of failure. Will I fail in my exam? Will I fail in my future? Will I fail in my relationship with others? Fear of failure is another effect of pandemic. And then lack of trust. No more we trust anyone. Lack of trust. If you don't trust anyone, if you don't trust your parents, if you don't trust your dear ones, if you don't trust your siblings, there is a problem. You have been affected with the pandemic and its effects. And then another thing is frustrations. Frustrated about everything. I was preparing so well for the exam, and it was in the month of April. Many of our school kids were preparing so hard for the exams, and finally what happened is, all of a sudden, the school management told the kids and the parents that no more sending children to the school. They have no more exams this year. And many children were frustrated. Boys like me would not be frustrated because we don't study much. People who study much, especially girls and all, they spend sleepless nights, enormous days of studies and all, preparing. And all these things they have done. They were using Google for studying. They were using library books, carrying big books like this. This is a big book. They were carrying all these big books like this, and finally coming to understand that there is no exam. Frustration, right? Getting angry with the parents. Why, mom, you were asking me to sit even at the late night? Well, you have been, you have been a disturbance for me. You never allowed me to sleep properly. You never allowed me to eat properly. You were always asking me, forcing me to study, and finally I studied. And what is happening? I am frustrated. And then another thing is fear. If you are a person with fear about anything, and now late night, some sound is heard. Many people wake up from their sleep and looking, what is that sound? What is that sound coming? The other day it was raining so heavily in Mangalore, 4 or 5 days continuously, non-stop it was raining. Many people were afraid, what's going to happen? Is God really angry with Mangalore? It was not only in Mangalore, as a matter of fact, but still we are asking, is God forsaken Mangalore? So fear actually, it was raining even earlier also, but this rain we are afraid. And some bills are passed in the parliament. Afraid, will that bill affect me? We don't know anything about that bill, but still afraid. Fear is a sign of pandemic. And now one cockroach comes, people are afraid. Earlier it was not so. People used to go out, run out. But if you go to the shop, you may not find the poison to kill this cockroach. And so you're afraid. Fear has, grip in the minds of people. Workshops are not open always. So if my vehicle gets damaged, where will I go? How will I get it corrected? Unnecessary fear and doubt about what's going to happen. That is a sign of pandemic. Another thing is health issues. Many people are, having this health issues. Many of those people have become more fat. The obesity and all these things are happening. Health issues are there. Some people BP increased, some people sugar increased, and cholesterol increased, and all these things are happening. And I was talking to one of the staff working in the Indiana hospital the other day. I know him personally. He's a friend of mine, and he was running morning 6 o'clock. He started running morning 6 to 7:30. He runs, and then after office he comes back at 6:30 in the evening. Again he started running. I asked, why are you killing yourself running like this? And he said, I am preparing myself because I have some health issues. And people are afraid and finding some ways to make themselves healthy. And if you're a person who is unhealthy, you think I am unhealthy, I am not good enough. If you think like that, don't stop yourself. Sickness can affect anyone. Even doctors can be affected with sickness. Anyone, even Prime Minister of India can be affected with sickness. The Home Minister of India, the Chief Minister of the state can be affected with sickness. But sickness is not going to end our life. That is what we need to understand. Sickness is there, it's a reality. And at the same time, healing is also a reality. Healing will take place. And suppose if you're fallen sick and you are thinking, I'm not going to be healed at all, not going to be healed at all, continuously thinking will put you into more trouble actually. So you have to come out of such sort of, these are the signs of the effect of pandemic in our life. Now we are coming to the close of this meeting, and I have only a few more minutes in front of me. Don't worry, only a few more minutes. And within that few more minutes, what I'm going to tell you is how to come out of the remedies to come out of the effect of pandemic in our life. And when I am saying this, I would recommend you to write it down. Not only writing it down, even if you're not writing it on a paper, write it down in your heart so that you can even share with others to how to come out of the effects of pandemic. One, be aware of your problem. How exactly the problem affected you, how exactly the pandemic has become a negative feeling, negative thing for you. Be aware of it. And once when you are aware of it, you'll be able to come out of the problem that you're facing. You'll be able to face the reality, face the situation, the challenges that is there in front of you. Secondly, practice gratitude, contentment. We have to practice actually contentment, to be satisfied. In Bible, there is a verse like this: godliness with contentment is a great gain. So sometimes people are so godly, but they have no contentment. They have only complaints in their life. Contentment means satisfaction. Be satisfied with what you have. We need to have a habit of being satisfied with what you have. A girl who is getting 98 marks out of 100 is not satisfied. Where is my 2 marks? And another person who is getting 90 marks, not satisfied. Another person who is getting 100 out of 100 is still not satisfied, because there are one or two other people also got this 100. So that means we are not satisfied. We have some good dresses and we are still not happy because our friends are having much more costlier, much more good looking dresses than what we have. I bought one dress yesterday, and today when I went to the public meeting, public place with that dress, I'm not happy about it because I lost all my happiness about it because other people are also having. Let me tell you one advice: never look at what others are doing. If at all you look at others and learn what you can learn from them, instead of looking at what you don't have, comparing with other people. Comparison is a big problem. I have seen many children suffering rejection in their home because of this comparison. They have a neighbor who is of the same age, and coming from the school, parents are asking how many marks did they get. Oh, they got this much. And how many marks did you get? I got 99. Where is that 1 mark? Parents are asking. The other people are all getting 100, but then why only 99 for you? Some of the other parents, they say like this. Once I was talking to a boy who was so much having frustration and all, and he said, my father used to ask me about my marks. If it is 99, he will say, other people got 100, and you go and ask them what food are they eating so that I'll buy that food for you so that you will also get 100 in the next exam. So children are so frustrated because they are totally ruined because of this. They're devastated. All their hope about this one. So what I'm telling you is be contented with what you have. Be contented. If possible, please remember this verse. Godliness with contentment is a great gain. We gain things in our life, not only with godliness we need. At the same time, the contentment also is very essential in our life. So that will help us to come out of the effects of pandemic. And another thing, focus on solutions instead of looking at what is not possible. Focus on solutions. Now this pandemic has caused, in fact it has caused a certain amount of difficulties in our life, and what we need to look at is not about how we're going to fail in this, but look at situations where we can come out of the difficulty, how we can come out of this difficulty instead of thinking about how much am I affected with this pandemic and all. So that is also very important. And another thing, have confidence about yourself. You need to have a confidence about yourself. Have confidence. That is one important thing for all of us. Many times we lose our confidence. We don't trust in anything. We don't trust in ourselves. Have confidence. Tomorrow is there. Today's difficulties will come to an end tomorrow. There, it is raining now. There is no rain ever happened in the history which is not stopped. There is no night that in the history, how many nights were there in the history so far? Thousands and crores of nights. And no nights continued to the day. Every night stopped there. And there is no road which is not going to end. Somewhere it will end. There is no difficulty that is coming and it is persisting forever. It will come to an end. Let me tell you the story of this lady called I forgot her name. Pool, and her this bone on the shoulder hit somewhere, and she was bedridden for the whole lifetime. At the age of 19, beautiful girl, she having a lot of hope, but bedridden, and she wanted to die. But what to do? Whole body is paralyzed, hands, legs, everything is paralyzed. Only head part is active, only mouth and then nose, and only head is active. Otherwise, everything is paralyzed. She cannot move one finger even. They did all the physiotherapy and all this. She's still living, I understand. So what happened? She almost lost hope, but when she was in the hospital, she saw another person who is having some hope about life. And that person told her, never lose hope, and maybe after some days they'll put you on a wheelchair, they'll tie you on a wheelchair, and you will be able to do something there. And she stood on a wheelchair, and somebody gave a painting brush in her mouth, and with that brush she started painting on a canvas that was kept in front of her, and she become a useful person, and she is able to influence many people. Many people, even now her books are bestsellers. No body, I mean, body is there, it's not moving. And you must have heard about Nick Vujicic from Australia, having no legs and no hands, only body and head. He is an influence to so many young people, teenagers. Even in the difficult times, he is finding some hope, some reasons to live a happy life. We are also able to find it if we really put our hearts for that. There is nothing impossible. Everything is possible only if we put our heart. Napoleon Bonaparte is one of the famous persons the world has ever seen. And there was a time he was the poorest, baddest, worst student in the class. And one day, one teacher gave some exercises for them to do, some mathematical exercise, and he started doing it, and he couldn't find the answer because he was not a smart student in the classroom at all. And so after the school, every other students went home, the school was locked, teachers also went home. And late in the night, Napoleon's parents came to the headmaster's house and asked, my son has not come home, where is he? Then the headmaster said, maybe he's sleeping in the class, and we'll go and open the school and see. They went to the school, and they found that in that classroom, in a corner, he is sitting with his book and the pencil, and he is he was doing something, and there only he slept, and he's nicely sleeping. Small boy, third standard boy. And later on, this boy has become one of the warriors in the world famous person, Napoleon Bonaparte. He said one quotation, nothing is impossible. Let that word speak to all of us. Nothing is impossible if we put hard. So have confidence. Wonderful things can happen. Anything can happen in our life. Never lose our confidence. Be happy even at times of troubles. Be happy. Face troubles in the difficult. Face the troubles. Face the difficult situations, and then only we'll be able to we'll be able to successfully face the difficulties that is there in front of us. Be happy even at the time of troubles, and broaden your thinking. We have to think about things in a broad way, not in a narrow way. Many times our thinking is limited in a very, very narrow way. Broaden our thinking. And finally, just one more word I'll tell you and I'll stop. That is to have a trust in the Lord. Trust the Lord, trust God Almighty, and He is able to do wonderful things. For many times, people depend on suicide and many things is because they don't trust God. They don't believe that God can make a change in their life. And always remember, God is not a God who comes and all of a sudden intervenes in the matter. Sometimes it can happen. Many times it happens a little late only. God comes, intervenes in the life of people, changes things. Nobody is ever lived a life that is so pitiful. And even if they live a pitiful life, it is because they never tried, they never believed themselves, they never tried to come out of the difficult situation. So if you try to come out of the difficult situation, if you really try to come out of the effects of this pandemic in our life, trust in God, and I assure you, I promise you that it is possible. Let me tell you what Napoleon Bonaparte said: nothing is impossible in our life. Thank you for listening to this talk so far. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, Pramod sir, for giving me this opportunity also. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank Ashwin, sir, from City College of Nursing.
Correct.
He introduced me to you, and I think he's there over here, and I'm thankful to you, sir, for
Correct.
introducing me to GPR Job, sir, and to hear him and have a wonderful session. I'm thankful to you, sir. If you're listening to me, I'm thankful to you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Uh, Nita, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The gratitude that we encounter helps us believe in the goodness of the world and strengthens us thereby to do what is good. On behalf of Aloka Foundation, it's my great honor to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries and participants who have witnessed it as a successful event. My heartfelt gratitude and respect for our distinguished guest speaker, Pastor Job John, who has dedicated 14 years in youth counseling, has enlightened us with their commendable talk on the subject. I would also like to thank the eminent speakers who, despite their busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion. I would also like to extend my gratefulness to the backbone of our foundation, Mr. Pramod Bhaskar Kumar, President of Aloka Foundation, Dr. Manohar Nayak, Secretary of Aloka Foundation, Dr. Kantini Pramod Kumar, Treasurer of Aloka Foundation, for their support and guidance. Conducting this psychological webinar would have been impossible without the zealous efforts of our organizing team. Teamwork is the ability to direct individual accomplishments towards organizational objectives, the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. So are we, the members of Aloka Foundation. Finally, I'm thankful to all the participants as no event can happen without the provision of a vast network of people. Thank you once again.
Anybody? Yeah, I just wanted to tell anybody has any thing to ask to sir, please put forward your words, your thoughts. And some few people who have done, I'd like to thank Sandra, ma'am. I saw her. Yeah, thanks, ma'am, for coming. Anybody has any queries to ask to sir, please put forward your questions. We can just put it forward to sir. If you have any queries, you want to just ask anything, please come forward and ask. So it was one of the most inspiring speech session that I've heard. And this was a need of hour, which I felt this is the need of the hour. What I feel that depression is killing people. I don't see that. Suicide is not an easy option. We have to be mentally strong. Positive thinking, as sir said, is one of the most important things. When you think positive, when you're surrounded by positive people, that creates a positive environment and you do better. And in Aloka Foundation, what we are group of positive people working positively for the positive development of the society. So I'm really thankful to Pia's job, sir, to come over here, deliver a speech and motivate people to think positively. The most important thing is to be positive in your life. And I do wish everybody thinks positive in their life, and there is an hope. Everybody should believe that there is an hope in your life. Hope is very much important. If you lose hope, there is no meaning for your life. So I just want you to be motivated, think positive, and be happy in your life. So when you are happy, everything around you becomes wonderful.
Hello, sir. I have just a suggestion. Since this mental health is like very important nowadays, like especially for students, like we have like it's now different, right? Like online education and all. So, isn't it the duty of the respected like principal or like lecturers to take care of their students, like to understand them and all? Like the since everything is changed, so the isn't it like necessary like from their side to like to understand?
Now, this is a question to me or to Pramod sir?
To you.
Okay, to me. So it is actually very important, and I am glad that Pramod sir has taken this initiative to conduct a meeting like this. This is my hope that every teachers and every principals, responsible people would take some initiative to do something. Many times, finances may be maybe something that is hindering people. But there are people like me who are not looking at finance. We are just there to help people. Any young people can come and contact anytime, and the authorities of different colleges can take initiative in helping their people, because mental strength is actually one thing we need to understand. Like one of the former prime ministers of India said, well, health of a person is the wealth of a nation. So in the same way, health, mental health and physical health of a student is the wealth of a college. So it is very important to take care of the mental as well as physical health of every student in this in an educational institution, and the steps has to be taken by the concerned authorities, and that would be a good thing.
I'd just like to add on something. I think I've been proud of my students, to be frank. All these sessions have been conducted by my students. I think they are much more engaged rather than their normal days in the college with this Aloka Foundation's work. And I'm really proud of them. I think it's getting the best out of them. And I'm really proud of them. To be frank, 1 month before we didn't know anything about these webinars, everything, contacting people, getting the things done. And now my students are confident to do many things, which I feel that as a teacher, if I can get something new for my students, it will be the best part in my life. So if you can motivate my students to be a better human. So this Aloka Foundation is working on that also, because we want to be a good human. And being a pharmacist, we are there to serve people. So I'm glad that my students are doing well, and I'm really proud of them, sir. And today I'm really proud that you gave them a direction to think positively. That's very important, sir. There will be many lectures coming and going on science and technologies, but mental health is very important. Without that, you can't do anything in your life. So I'm glad that you enlightened my students and those who have, all over, not my students, whosoever has attended this session, there will be something they will be taking back. So I do appreciate everybody who had been present over here, and there is something takeaway when they go back from this session. So if there is any questions, yeah, we will be there to answer you. I'll just put it forward, sir. If they get any queries, I'll just put it on to you, sir. But your association with you has been one of, I think I have not met you anything, sir. But it is just Ashwin, sir, that one day we had a chat. He thought that, okay, there is one good speaker, he will be talking. I didn't know anything, but I'm really impressed by your speech and your motivational talk. I think most of them will agree with this, and what feedback that we are getting it in my chat box, people are really inspired, and I hope they do think positive in their life and keep on smiling. As I see, I've been watching you for the 1 hour, and there was a smile in your face. That is very much important, sir. That always a smile that keeps people engrossed and calm. So I'm really happy that you accepted our invitation, spent your valuable time in inspiring people, mostly the students and the elders, those who have joined us. Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful session. And I'm glad that you took been a part of our Aloka Foundation. Surely, sir, in future, if you can, we will do something better for the society along with Aloka Foundation, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And if there is any questions, otherwise I'll end this session. Is there any questions, Janita, Nita, is there any questions that you would like to put it on to sir? Okay, can we end the session? Thank you, sir. Thank you. With this, I would like to end the session. Thank you very much, sir, for, yeah, anybody?
As there are no questions, we will play a video over here.
Yeah.
Kindly stay your 2 minutes and watching it. Thank you.
Okay, Janita. Carry on. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Janita, I'll end the session.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Janita.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Janita, Nita, Pravesh. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.